What's going on, guys? We are back on a Monday. Of course, the change of the slow song there right as we get started, kind of dampening the open. And hope everybody's doing well. More importantly, hope everybody enjoyed the weather this weekend. Holy cow, we've made it. The corner has been turned. Is this the start of the dry season, the official start? We are going to get all into that. By the way, we're taking a live look tonight in Daytona Beach and in Marineland. It was a rough weekend along the coast, though. We talked at length about that last week. We're going to get into some of that as well. Those live looks courtesy of our friends at WeatherStem. So is this the start of the dry season? We are going to do some high-level inspecting, and then we are going to talk tropics. Lorenzo formed today, tropical storm. It's not going to hurt anything right off the bat. Just want to let you know that it's not coming anywhere close to the United States. Could do a weird loop-the-loop out in the middle of the ocean, so it'll be fun to watch that as it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to be one for the fishes. And then we're going to look long range. This has been a long topic of the show, this time period, the third week of October. We've really been talking about the third week of October, that if hurricane season was going to be impactful, and of course, for our friends in Carolina, I know it's been impactful for you. Tropical Storm Chantal brought about a foot to 18 inches of rain, caused some big-time flooding there. But otherwise, relatively speaking, while there's been a few intense storms, thankfully, they've been all out to sea. We're going to take a look, though, at that wave that has just emerged from Africa. There's some chatter online about it. There's some meteorology and some science to back things up, but I want to caution some of the model runs and what they are showing. You know the drill. If you got my newsletter tonight, then you know what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to break that down through the course of the show. By the way, we are coming at you live, of course, every Monday through Friday at 9:30 on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Jody. Hey, Elizabeth. Kevin, what's up, my friends? Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions throughout the course of the show, I will do my best to get to them. Monday has always been, when we had weather-wise in the morning, it had always been kind of the day that I like to talk long range. I'm a big fan of long range forecasting, especially in the wintertime. Even for Florida winter, it's always cool to kind of look at the signals and signs way down the road to see how our weather can be influenced. So that's one of the reasons why we kind of look long range, tropically speaking, on Mondays, and then kind of back it up on Tuesdays with the Climate Prediction Center outlook. So first and foremost, what is the dry season? It's kind of like what it means or what it says at face value. It's when we turn dry. Now, we are not immune from rain in the dry season, of course. We do have cold fronts, and cold fronts oftentimes do bring us rain and thunderstorms. But typically, the dry season, what we're looking at here is we really shut off those daily rain chances. So the rain chances on a daily basis drop sharply. So our afternoon sea breeze thunderstorms, those come to an end. The humidity, of course, that drops. To get all of this to be induced, you typically need a front big enough to drop on a widespread scale temperatures below 60 degrees. Well, this weekend, we had that. This morning, we had that. Most of us woke up into the low 60s. Most of us woke up into the low 60s. A bunch of us, northwest of I-4 especially, woke up into the mid to upper 50s. So this front loosely meets the criteria to do that. And when you see the 7-day forecast again, there's nothing but sunshine. There is nothing but 60s through the next 7 days when you wake up in the morning. And we are talking about temperatures largely into the middle 80s, give or take, over the next 7 days. It looks like the dry season to me. Now, we'll have to wait a couple of weeks to really see. It's kind of one of those things where you have to kind of look back. Okay, we have a potential starting point of the dry season, which was this weekend. We have to see now, okay, do we get another surge of moisture? I'll show you that in 1 second. Or is there something tropically speaking that would kind of bring that moisture back? We're not completely out of the woods when it comes to tropical threats. As we know, we like to clear October, but then that's one of the reasons why you kind of backdate the start of the dry season, just in case we do get something lifting up out of the Caribbean. And that's kind of the wink wink, the hint hint to the next segment that we're going to talk about, is kind of, I think, the last thing that the Atlantic may produce is something that we're going to have to watch. I'm optimistic that it stays squashed in the Caribbean because of these fronts, but if it times out right and it lifts instead of being pushed down and kind of beaten up by shear, we're gonna have to just watch. So yeah, on average, this is when the cool season, the dry season starts mid to late October. So right around the 15th to the 20th, that's when we're looking for, on average anyway, the start of the dry season, the start of the cool season, at least the less humid season across the board. Now, with that said, there does look like there could be one little moisture surge. So this is the dew point forecast. We're looking long range now. Anywhere you see this green color, that characterizes dew point temperatures of 70 degrees or warmer. So the fact that it is coming back up again may mean that there's an outside shot that this weekend may not have officially started the dry season, but I think we'll take it. Certainly, there's been a corner turn, and it's no doubt the most comfortable weather we have felt since back in late April. And by and large, I think that is going to continue, maybe with the exception every day. I'll put this out into the future again, and you see there's another front that kind of takes that out. You do see there, though, the green trying to surge back up. So there may be a seesaw deal between, okay, fall wants to start and the tropics still want to be involved. And that's why I'm not putting the official tag on the start of the dry season just yet, because the tropics aren't closed just yet. Okay. So it could be, but we still need to wait a couple weeks until we shake this out. And you see there's a bigger moisture surge as we get towards the latter stages of October. In terms of the rainfall outlook, third week of October, the 21st to the 27th, it's about normal. And again, it's at the end of the month where we typically start watching those rain chances go down, coinciding with those first fronts beginning to arrive, and all of that. So the short answer to all of that is, yeah, no, that has the potential to be the start of the dry season, and rain chances becoming hard to come by between now and May. But there's still an opportunity for the tropics to be in play. Oh, Jody, I mean, any day this week, next 7 days are dry, mid 80s. Every day is good. Alrighty, guys, when we come back, we are going to spend a good deal on the tropics. A fresh wave has just rolled off of Africa. It is low. We never like whenever they are low. However, being that it's on the lower side, also poses some challenges for the storm itself. There it is highlighted right there. We're going to take a closer look at that and newly named Tropical Storm Lorenzo coming up in just about 3 minutes. Stick around. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to News 6 Weather Live. We are here every Monday through Friday on the News 6 YouTube page and, of course, on News 6 Plus. It's Monday, and I always like to get into the long range, whether it be tropically speaking or otherwise. And as we get deeper into winter, it's going to be more otherwise and looking at some of those mechanisms. So I always love Monday's portion of the show, especially because it's fun being kind of the atmospheric detective and looking at some of the clues that the atmosphere is giving you around the world. On the tropical front, earlier today, 5 a.m., we officially had Tropical Storm Lorenzo in play. It's this guy right out here. It's kind of sheared out a little bit. You can see the low level center hanging out right through there. The winds are 50 miles an hour right now. It's drifting off to the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour right now. It is expected to approach briefly hurricane strength, not actually get there, but it's going to get close. At least according to the official forecast from the Hurricane Center, as it kind of lifts up and then drifts back to the east and then back down to the south. So this is going to be a fun one to watch because it might do a loop-the-loop or two as it kind of gets southeast of the Azores, closer to the Canary Islands, and then back towards the middle of the Atlantic again. This is going to be impacting nobody as it swirls around the east central Atlantic. Again, just a fish storm, just going to give the fish a nice little ride. With Lorenzo forming today, that brings our total up to 12 named storms on the season, 4 of those becoming hurricanes, 3 of those becoming major. Now, that puts us closer to achieving an average season. There may only be 1 storm left. We might shut things down big time. I mean, in the peak of hurricane season, it was hard to get stuff going. So I don't know how it's going to get easier when we start getting out of peak, which we are rapidly doing over the next couple of weeks. And again, the last main threat may be this one right here that just rolled off of Africa. Again, it's a tropical wave. Long range models have been on that for a little bit of time now. And we've talked about this, that the Caribbean would start to get a little more favorable as we get towards the second to third week of October. So everything's lining up here. But is this wave going to develop? And the answer to that question is I'm not entirely sure. What I can tell you, or at least what I'm thinking at this moment, is I any model that rapidly gets this thing wound up in the main development region, that means before the Caribbean, it's probably a little too aggressive. So if you see models getting aggressive early, they're probably incorrect. And the basis of that is because they have shown this story the entire season of just completely overblowing these main development region waves. We talked about this at length really since about early August. And it was put on full display again last week with Jerry. It was put on full display again earlier, a couple weeks prior to that with Invest 91L. And it never even developed. So use caution with those models that are putting out some of those crazy model runs. I'm not saying anything's off the table at this point. If something gets into the Caribbean, we all know how juiced it is in there. But it's way, way too early to kind of make anything any kind of answers or anything like that. Now, here are the ensemble forecasts going out in the next couple of days, really the next 10 days, 7 to 10 days. And ensembles are hinting, again, the brighter color represents the higher percentage of development. And this is all the way out to the 22nd. So we are in the middle of the Caribbean, in the middle of the third week of October. So there's plenty of time to watch this coming through over the next couple of days. So here's what I want to show you now. I want to go to the other weather computer, and we're going to look at some of the individual model ensemble members. This is going to be the European model, and you see the more lines and the more L's. The lines are the tracks, the L's are where the storm center is at this point. This is through October 23rd or October 22nd, the evening of the 22nd. Excuse me. And it does have a decent amount of the members online with something going through the Central Caribbean. There's also a few that want to take it towards the Greater Antilles. So there is certainly a signal there that we need to watch, okay? Let me show you the GFS ensembles. The GFS had a wild run this afternoon. Never trust the 18Z GFS at 384 hours. Friends don't let friends look at that stuff, okay? Its ensemble members are certainly not as bullish as the operational run from this morning or this afternoon. So, something to be mindful of. Some have it curving even before the Caribbean. And then one thing that has really, really popped off lately is the Google DeepMind artificial intelligence model. It's done pretty well with these last few storms, tempering expectations on the main development region waves. It has it. It doesn't have it developing until like south of the Dominican Republic or Haiti, and I can see that happening because the main development region just doesn't want to support storms this year. Obviously, a good thing, but then it gets towards Central America. Then there is land interaction. How much time does it have? What does it look like? There are still so many questions. This one goes out through the 28th of October. And I mean, we are getting way, way out there. That's more than 2 weeks away. So we have ensemble guidance and model guidance to now look at to go with some of the large scale modeling that we've been showing, to kind of talk about the environment. And that's something now that we have something to watch and track and watch trends. And that's about all you can do at this point. And then just beware of those single model runs that paint like a ridiculous scenario because it's too far out into the future. There is definitely not enough data for those things to even be remotely close to predicting it right. One of the things of concern would be that the environment is going to be decent. The wind shear is going to be pretty low. And obviously we know the water temperature down there is extremely high. The combination of that is not the best news, but again, if it comes in all beat up and battered and weak, it's not going to be able to take advantage of any of that. And that solution is still on the table. And that's what I want everyone to take forward and take with you what you will from tonight's show is that it's not a foregone conclusion that this even develops. So just be careful of those wild model runs that are out there. All right, I have to get my second break in. When we come back, we are taking some questions. Hope everybody's doing well tonight on a Monday. See you in 3 minutes. Alrighty, guys, we have a few minutes left before I have to run and get ready for a News 6 at 10. If you're interested in the Central Florida forecast, if you're watching on News 6 Plus, keep it parked right there. Again, that's coming up in just about 7 minutes. That's going to be News 6 at 10. And then, of course, join us on the TV side of things at 11 for News 6 at 11. Allie, hope you're doing well tonight. Rick, what's going on, my friend? I hope things are okay where you are. I was watching that all weekend, certainly the Ponce Inlet Pier situation, and just all the debris up and down the Atlantic coast from the high tides. I mean, it just goes to show you don't need a hurricane to cause the damage along the coast. We were talking about that all last week, that the king tides combined with that easterly wind from that coastal storm that did blast the Carolinas and the Northeast, continuing to slide back through. The question from Andy is the wind shear. It is very, very minimal. This is, let's go. Let me take this out to, let me get to the other weather computer real quick. And what we're looking at here is the average wind shear, or the anomaly, I should say, of the average 850 millibar to 200 millibar wind shear. Where you see the blue, that is below normal wind shear. This is through the 19th into the 20th. And out that way, there's just not a lot of wind shear going on. So again, that doesn't mean that it's going to explode. You have to have the storm first. And I don't know that it's going to be able to take advantage of that. That's what we have to hope for. We just want to keep everything out of the Caribbean, keep everything out of the Gulf, for the foreseeable future. For the next couple of weeks, then I think we're home free here, because these fronts are coming like crazy. They are coming pretty fast, and eventually they're not going to be able to make the turn north, and some of that wind shear is going to take care of those storms eventually. But through the next couple of weeks, the wind shear is going to be on the lower side, which we don't want. But again, if there's no storm, or if the storm is very disheveled and discombobulated, and there's been land interaction, maybe with South America, it's riding that low, that maybe, just maybe, it's not going to be able to take advantage of all of that stuff. Here is the wave itself. If everybody joined late, there's the wave. It's riding very, very low. Again, that makes it one of the things we need to watch, because it's riding so low, but also it takes a lot longer for these to organize when they are that low. Not to mention, if it keeps on staying at that latitude without really coming up, there's a whole big thing of land in the way, known as South America, that will take care of it. So there's a lot of different things in play still that nobody knows the answers to. So at this stage of the game, we just have to kind of watch some of the trends with the ensembles, as I was showing you early on, and just keep it in the back of your mind that it's there. I'm cautiously optimistic that the thing will stay in the Caribbean, not get a hitch a ride up to the States. Not wishing it on anybody, of course. I'm hoping that we get enough wind shear in there to rip it apart. Or again, it comes in disheveled, and it never really has time to take advantage of the wind shear, and all that stuff. We normally don't get the 40s and 50s until like late, like this December, probably. December is when our averages start to get down there. I mean, maybe, Rodney, but maybe not. I don't, we might not, because it's not going to be developed. It's not going to be developed by this weekend. So I don't even know that we will. That's the thing. If it's not developed, we're just not going to know. And that's going to be the thing, because models are probably still going to blow it up, and they're probably going to be wrong on that. So again, I mean, this weekend will get us to what? I mean, the 19th, if hurricane hunters can start to get up in there, it might be close enough for that. Then maybe, but boy, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is Monday, so maybe by that time. I don't know why I'm thinking it's like Friday already. But we'll see. We'll see. Alrighty, guys, I have to run and get ready for the 10. Thank you a ton for the conversation. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. We're going to look at the Climate Prediction Center's thoughts, which should, let's see, it would have that week on there. So I'm anxious to see what their highlight, because that should go out the 20th. Yeah, it would have that week on there. So I'd be anxious to see what their highlight says, just for kind of reinforcing what we talked about tonight. So we'll look at that tomorrow. Alrighty, guys, have an awesome night. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9:30, right back here, News 6 Plus, and on the News 6 YouTube page. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the fantastic weather. I'll see you in a few minutes on News 6 to 10 on News 6 Plus.